Hello and welcome back to Holt Hanley Weather. I'm going to be giving you an update on Winter Storm Kade because it has strengthened way more than the models were originally forecasting, especially in the Northeast where right now the numbers are looking pretty good. So make sure to stay tuned till the end of the video because I'm saving best for last. Alright, let's dive into my screen here. We're going to start off with the jet stream because this really explains why this storm is going to strengthen as much as the models are saying it will. Here you see, this says the jet stream. You can see it's dipping super south, like almost below Texas. And this is early Thursday morning, so right now. And you see just from right here, that right side of the trough is mostly reds, which is pretty good for jet stream speed. And then right when it starts bringing that warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico, you see those yellows and dark yellows start to pop up, and then especially over the Northeast. If you look at that, how I like to think of it is just pure energy. You look at the Northeast right there, that is about as much energy as you're ever going to see for the jet stream. So that really explains why this storm has strengthened so much. It's bringing that warm, moist air from the Gulf of Mexico, and it's fueling the entire system. Especially over the Northeast, where originally models were saying 4 or 5 inches. Well, just wait to see what they're seeing at the end of the video. So we're going to start with what's going on right now. The South is seeing most of the action at this point. Louisiana getting some nice rainfall, 0.2 inches per hour. Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, you're all getting some of that rainfall too. Some severe thunderstorms and even a couple tornado warnings to watch out for as well. This is Thursday afternoon. That low builds in over Alabama, and you can see that severe thunderstorms continue throughout the region. Then, it's pretty cool. The entire system organizes. It just forms a nice straight line. You see it better when I show the mid-Atlantic, but you can see the southern portion of that line in this screen here. The line is going right over Georgia, bringing in severe thunderstorms, and then it strengthens even more going into late Thursday night, where thunderstorms are going to go all the way up the East Coast until you get some snowstorms up in the Northeast. And then when is it gone? It's gone by Friday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. That's gone. South is back in the clear. So let's check out the mid-Atlantic. What's going on there? You see a low just to the west of Virginia. That's going to bring some thunderstorms through this whole region. North Carolina, South Carolina, you get some of that action too. And then you see another low start to build in, and this is where it starts to organize. Right there. That is late Thursday night at about 7 o'clock at night. You see that perfect line just going up the entire East Coast. So basically from Florida all the way to Connecticut, there is going to be 0.2 inches of rainfall, possibly even more, maybe 0.5 inches of rainfall per hour throughout basically the entire East Coast, going up that strip from Florida to Connecticut. And then you see the circulation of the low really starts to show up on early Friday morning. Think about it, around a low pressure system, winds are going up on the east side and down on the west side. It's counterclockwise. Or I'm backwards in these videos, so it looks like that. So it's going to be bringing cold air down. You're getting snow on the west side of that low, and then you're getting heavy rainfall on the east side of that low. And I just love this figure right here. It's just a perfect example of how that circulation around a low pressure system works. And then you see it starts to really strengthen. That's where that jet stream got those dark yellows. See it really start to strengthen. Some of those darker colors start to show up. And then that's going to move into the Northeast. We'll get to that at the end of the video. So let's check out the Midwest. There's some snow going on right now in parts of Michigan and Illinois. And you can see that low pressure system to the far south that we just looked at in the previous map. Well, they're going to get some more snow, not too much. Michigan, Ohio, you're going to be getting snow throughout Thursday night and even into Friday morning. Illinois, Indiana, you're going to get some of that snow too, but as you can see, it's maybe 0.1 inches per hour. Nothing too major. By Friday at 7 in the morning, Ohio starts to see maybe a little bit more than 0.2 inches per hour, but nothing too crazy. Let's take a look at some of the totals, 24-hour accumulated snowfall for that snow that's going through. Right now, it's looking alright. Parts of northern Ohio, you're going to be getting 3.5 inches. Michigan, you're going to be more in that 2-inch range. And then that one's going to move off, and then you start to get some more on Friday morning. Most of that goes to Ohio and parts of eastern Indiana. Maybe 1.5 inches, 2 inches. And then throughout Friday, that's going to build in a little bit better. Ohio, you're going to get into maybe the 3-inch range in some places. As you can see though, not the best snowstorm for you guys. What you do get is mostly lake effect and kind of the far edges of that low that's moving more up the east coast. If that was a little farther to the west, you'd probably have some better snowfall numbers. Alright, we're about to get into the northeast, and I can't talk about the northeast snow totals without first explaining why they're going to be so great. So we already talked about the jet stream. It's going to be bringing all that energy in from the Gulf of Mexico, really strengthening the jet stream, just bringing in a bunch of energy to the storm. Well, there's two things that are going to make a storm big. It's the energy it gets from warm air advection and positive vorticity. Don't worry about that right now. It basically means curl of the winds. So if there's a lot of winds, a lot of vorticity. The other aspect is cold air. And the best way to look at that is looking at the 500 millibar temperatures. Here you see giant trough over the entire middle of the country. Ridge to the west, ridge to the east. And then throughout the week, see right here, the northeast is still in those green temperatures, pretty warm for this time of year, but then watch as this trough starts to move into the northeast. The entire northeast is just blanketed in cold air by Friday into Saturday. And that's going to be where the snowfall really starts to build up in the region. You see, starts to deepen even more. You get some of those purples down there, which is the really cold Arctic air. And then this wasn't showing up earlier in the week, but another little trough is going to start to build into the northwest. That's going to bring some heavy snowfall for them too. Alright, the moment you've all been waiting for is here. Let's take a look at the northeast. This is right now. It's already looking good, and the bulk of the storm hasn't even hit yet. Heavy snowfall totals for basically all of New York, especially in those high elevation places. Pennsylvania is pretty much covered in freezing rain, so watch out if you're on the road there. And you can see the low just off to the, what would that be, southwest of Pennsylvania. Well, that's going to start moving in, and it's going to bring some nice snow up to parts of Vermont, New Hampshire, Maine, while basically all Massachusetts is covered in freezing rain. So this is now Thursday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Most of Pennsylvania is getting rainfall. Vermont's getting a little bit of snow. Maine's getting a little bit of snow. It's nothing too exciting. And then that low moves into Pennsylvania. You start to see the very top of that organized strip of rainfall that we were looking at earlier. And then look what happens coming up pretty soon here. See, it already starts to deepen. That low now goes to 988 millibars. Some heavy snowfall in parts of New York. Low drops to 983 millibars. Some even heavier snowfall and some freezing rain in New York. And then right here, this is Friday at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, that low drops to 972 millibars. And I'm seeing some of the highest snowfall rates that I've seen in weeks. New York, it's saying you could be getting 0.2, 0.3, 0.4 inches per hour at 1 o'clock on Friday. That is pretty awesome. And then it drops to 967 millibars as it moves up into Maine, bringing extremely heavy snowfall up to those locations as well. So let's take a look at the totals. As of right now, New York, you're in about the 4 to 5 inch range for most of the state. Vermont, you're looking at 4 inches. New Hampshire, about 4 to 5 inches. And Maine, right now you're in that 1 to 3 inch range. But just wait, you guys are getting some great snow on Friday, Saturday. So throughout Friday, that first kind of system moves through, and then remember that rain started to build in, that nice organized strip. And then the real snowfall starts to hit Friday at 1 o'clock. By that time, New York, you're already going to have 7 inches in the northern portions of the state, while 3 to 4 in the southern portions. Northern portions of Vermont, you're looking at maybe 7, 8 inches, while southern portions of Vermont and New Hampshire, you guys have barely seen anything at this point. Northern Maine, 7 inches, 6 inches. Southern Maine, 1 to 2. Just wait. By Friday night, early Saturday morning, look at that. Remember those heavy snowfall rates starting at 1 o'clock on Friday? Well, by 1 o'clock on Saturday, look what's accumulated. You got 10 inches in northern New York, 14 inches in very northeast portions of New York, northwest portions of Vermont. You got, what could we find? 3 to 4 inches in New Hampshire. You guys are kind of missing out on this one. But then northern Maine, 15 inches. Just a few days ago, the forecast for Winter Storm Kade were showing maybe 4 to 5 inches for the northeast. Now, look what it's saying. 14 inches, 15 inches. Again, that's not everywhere, but that's pretty darn good. This kind of makes up for that last winter storm that originally was supposed to be like 20 and then ended up being 4 inches. So, and remember, this forecast is a lot more accurate than the one from a few days ago. So, if you are a snow lover, this storm is looking pretty good for you. If you have any advice for how I can improve forecast videos in the future, let me know so that I can get better and provide more value to you. And I'd love to know what Winter Storm Kade is bringing to the area where you live. Thanks for watching.